To help us discuss that and Taysom Hill and BYU football is a former Raider, 4-year NFL vet, David Nixon, who's looking dapper, getting ready for AFR. How you doing, David?
Hey, feels great to be back here in the studio talking football.
Yeah.
And it's the first time back in the studio, right, this year?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's been since summertime, yeah.
Let's talk about what it's like to play on the dirt. And you tweeted about this last night.
Your tweet was eye-opening last night.
Honestly, it's the truth. I mean, first, I copied after Justin Forsett, who, if you saw his tweet, he mentioned, I thought it was really funny. He's like, if you want to know what it feels like to play on that dirt, run outside, run down the street, full speed, and then jump on the street, the pavement, as hard as you can. That's what it feels like laying on that dirt. and I chimed in. I go, it's true. I mean, it's literally from what my understanding, the field crew comes in and they scrape off the excess dirt on the infield.
Why?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's because maybe when it gets dew on it or wet. I don't know what it is, but I know they scrape it off because
it's not muddy.
Maybe that of sorts. Maybe it gets messy and it ruins the dirt per se. Maybe it's special dirt. I don't know, but I know it's true in the sense that it is literally just rock solid. And when you stand out there with your cleats, you're on ice skates. And so when I watch guys get down 3-point stands to try to rush the quarterback, I remember how it is because we used to do punt returns and everything where you're trying to tee off and get off, and you don't have great footing. And then on top of that, when you start tackling on it, I mean, I still feel like I have burns from those days whenever I was landing on that. It was brutal. And so, I mean, props to those guys. It's funny because all Raiders players, they root against the A's every opportunity they get because the sooner the A's get done with their season, the sooner they get the grass put on the infield.
I don't understand. Like field turf has come so long. Why can't you put some sort of almost like a little patch of whether it's turf or something
Jason,
fill that in?
Jason, you obviously haven't been to the stadium. They're not investing a dime in that place.
Oh yeah, no, it's it's so bad.
But this isn't just because they're not going. This has always been that way.
Yeah, listen, when we'd walk from our locker room, so our home locker room down to the field, no kidding, we would step over like sewer water. Oh, like by the stairs, we had to like kind of hop over it. Basically, it was absolutely disgusting. So I don't fault the Raiders for wanting to move at all because that place is a mess.
Just win, baby.
Just win because you can't have anything else. Let's talk about the Saints. Your brother-in-law Taysom Hill catches a touchdown pass last night. That was pretty cool in a fun win for the Saints.
Yeah, huge win for the Saints. I mean, that was exciting. Taysom talked all offseason that Sean Payton and Drew Brees had talked to him and said, listen, we expect you to be more involved with this offense, more than he was last year. And so he was prepared going into it, and we chatted with him after the game, and that play was supposed to go to Michael Thomas. It was supposed to be a pick route, basically. But it was funny because once Taysom cleared the corner, once the corner decided to go with Michael Thomas, and you had 2-on-1 on Thomas, you saw Taysom kind of throw his arms up in the air and be like, I'm open! and if you watch it close, Michael Thomas also points, and he recognized the double coverage on him. So Michael Thomas going in the end zone, he points at Taysom for Drew.
Like Drew Brees needs all this communication.
Throw it to him, yeah.
Like, should I throw it there?
Oh, here? Okay.
Yeah, that helps, right? But he jumped up and got the ball, and it was fun to see the celebration between Drew and Taysom afterwards because you think about Taysom, most of Taysom's touchdowns are off the zone read or tucking the ball, whatever it may be. But Taysom and Drew have become great friends to the point where they text, they go on vacations together. And so I think that was a fun moment for both of them to share. Monday Night Football, opening game.
He kept the ball, too.
Yeah, which you should, yeah.
Keep that ball.
Always keep the ball.
Did you keep a ball?
I didn't score a touchdown, so no.
You didn't just grab one?
Yeah, just grab one on the way out. Somebody else's ball.
They probably aren't having them out there aplenty. They probably need to keep all of them since they're saving so much money.
The Patriots are just out there for anyone to grab, right?
Yeah, just some are more inflated than others, yeah.
All right, let's focus on BYU football. What'd you learn from the Cougars with the win at Tennessee?
I tell you what, I love this win. I love it more than if it would have been a blowout because I think this team needed a close game like this. I think they needed a game where they had to fight, scratch, and claw and pulled out the end in the fashion they did. If you look back on Kalani's era and specifically now Zach Wilson from last year to this year, they haven't been able to pull through a lot of these games in the clutch moments. Yeah, you've had the few Hail Marys and things like that, but going back to Boise State last year, we end on the 2-yard line, couldn't punch it in for the game winner. And so I think something like this, a game like this where they're able to come down and have a miracle play and then a regulation assignment and then really pound it out in overtime and kind of enforce their will on Tennessee, I think that is going to prove to be huge for this team as far as a confidence manner goes, because I think up till now, when they got into tight situations, I think the floods of memories of past years have come into mind, and they know that they've haven't been able to rise to the occasion. But this year, in that type of win, I mean, it will be huge for them to build on that for the weeks to come. Because when they find themselves in a similar situation, down double digits, they can now say, "Listen, we just did it last week, guys. Let's go. Let's put this thing together and start rolling." So. that's what I learned about this team. They've got more grit in them than maybe I expected of them. But it's fun to see now that they've got that confidence, and hopefully they can build upon that, because there's no doubt they're going to find themselves in the same situation throughout the season. And now they can finally, like I said, point back and say, been there, done that.
28 points in regulation in 2 games. Probably not going to cut it against USC. So do you expect BYU to take a jump and be more explosive this week against a better opponent in USC?
Yeah, you have to. You have to be more explosive. And I think this offense is still trying to figure out their way a little bit. You saw against Utah where Zach was scrambling a lot more. He was out of the pocket trying to create and make plays. And Tennessee, I think the coaching staff said, listen, just take care of the ball. Don't turn the ball over like you did against Utah, and we'll win this thing. And that didn't really prove to be the case until late in the fourth quarter and overtime. And so they've got to find wherever that happy medium is. What do you have to do to get Zach out and going? I think personally, from when I watch the film and look at Zach, I think he gets his excitement, his mojo from creating a little bit. Yeah, he could probably rear it back a little bit, not rush every play, obviously, and stay in the pocket a little longer. But they've got to find that happy medium of getting him out of the pocket, getting him moving, as well as making him stay in there and throw the ball. So I think a great recipe for Zach Wilson in this offense is exactly what New Orleans did yesterday. I think it wasn't until the end of the fourth, until the long bomb from Breeze to I think it was Ted Ginn, that Drew Brees hadn't attempted a ball over 20 yards at that point. And I think BYU needs to take that same type of recipe and apply it to this team in the sense that we've seen what Micah Simon, last game, I think all he did was catch first downs. But, 5, 6, 7-yard hitch routes and try to let the big guys make moves, quick guys like Simon make moves, and not try to extend the ball too far down the field. But against athletic defense like USC, you're not going to be able to stretch them vertically. Those guys have more speed than BYU. But where you can beat them is hopefully the under routes, some rub routes, some confusion, and try to pick up yards that way. And I think you just kind of methodically work your way down the field and do what the Saints did last night. And that is just kind of dink and doink it down the field.
Over the last couple of seasons, BYU seems to have more success on the road against those types of teams and in those situations than they do at home. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I wish I had an answer. And I think they wish they had an answer because, listen, there's no question. When you're on the road, there's less distractions, right? I mean, you're not having to worry about school. You're done with school. You're on the road, and you're focused on your team. Sometimes when you're at home on Friday, you're rushing to class to, take a test at a testing center or whatever it may be. And then family can sometimes come into play there. But this team, you're no question. We look at the big wins. Last year, also Wisconsin on the road. This year, now on the road. And they've mentioned that. I think Zach Wilson mentioned that last week as well. For some reason, they excel on the road. But they've got to figure it out at home because at the end of the day, you've got to protect LaVelle's house. And that's something they've got to take pride in and find a way to win here at home. But, it's an interesting trend that's occurring. I don't like the trend. I like that they're winning, but I like that trend to also be here at home where they can, go undefeated here at home.
It'd be weird if BYU didn't defend home turf in the first 4 and their only win was on the road at Tennessee. That'd be weird, right? Let's get your comments on some depth chart news with Zane Anderson moving back to free safety. And then Chaz Ayu is the starter at flash linebacker.
Yeah, Chaz played a fantastic game against Tennessee. I loved what I saw from Chaz. He did a great job, not only in coverage, but also coming up and forcing the run. Zane, there's no question. I think his shoulder still bothered him, it looks like. And I think that's why they're kind of moving back there so he doesn't have to be in the box and doesn't have to take hits and blows every play. But I like what Chaz is doing. He's developing. I think he'll only get better and better as a linebacker as he converts to that linebacker spot. But I like moving Zane back. I mean, the good thing about Zane now is he's had work at safety. He's had work at backer. Now he's going back to safety. And so he has a pretty good feel of the entire defense as a whole. He knows where guys are going to be, and he can kind of be that field general from the back end. So it's only positive for this BYU defense. And that's what the first couple of games are for. The coaches are sitting back looking and saying, we got to get our best 11 on the field. And obviously they looked at Chaz and they said, he's one of our best 11, so let's get him on the field. In order to do that, we've got to move Zane back to safety and make him produce there. So I think it's a good move. We'll see how it plays out on Saturday, obviously.
If you had any questions about USC after week 1, those were certainly answered in week 2.
Oh, man.
Defeating and just manhandling Stanford. They're legit. Everyone's talking about their offense. Everybody's, and as they well should, everyone's talking about their true freshman quarterback, Slovis. He's a young quarterback, even though he's not playing like a young quarterback. What can BYU do defensively to try and disrupt him?
Yeah, it's all about throwing different looks at him. You've got to keep him on his heels a little bit. You've got to be able to bring, we've seen the 3 down linemen that BYU likes to run with, but then we saw in that Tennessee game, BYU started to rush 5 guys, and they'd bring him in from the safety position, from the backer position. And I think pre-snap alignment with a freshman quarterback and showing him a 3-4 look or showing him a blitz look, and then bailing or then coming, you've got to throw different things at him, because if not, he obviously has the arm, and I think most importantly, he has the weapons. If you watch those receivers, this is by far the best receiver core BYU faced all year. Not even close.
No doubt.
Yep.
And so with him, as a quarterback, all you've got to do with those guys is just throw it up, and literally they go up and catch it. And he's able to do safe throws. But I think defensively, you've got to get different looks. We've seen that BYU doesn't love to pressure, and it's okay. I mean, you look through the first 2 weeks, BYU's defense has held their own, and yeah, it's not flashy. It's not the type of defense where we're getting 5-6 sacks a game, but it's effective and it's working. And so I think they stick with what they're doing, but I think you just have to switch it up a little bit. And like I said, give them a lot of different looks.
When the ball comes out as fast as it does with the air raid, why would you blitz? Like it just makes sense not to against USC.
So when you face teams like the air raid, defensively, what you do is you realize you're most likely you're not going to get home. You're not going to get to the quarterback. So this week, what they'll be practicing is rushing, taking 2 or 3 steps, and look at the quarterback and finding out where he's looking, where he's going, and then you settle and you try to get your hands up. And you're trying to find ways to disrupt their passing lanes. Because, yeah, it's very rare you're going to get home whenever the ball's getting out within 2 or 3 seconds. But you can't get your hands up, and you got a guy like Devin Kafusi, big dude, that can get up and knock balls down. So.
In the second half.
Yeah.
He'll be out for the first half with targeting.
With targeting, that's right.
Yeah. Before we let you go, David, a little breaking news coming in.
BYU Sports Nation breaking news.
BYU and Boise State have announced a new 10-game series that will take place between 2025 and 2034. The first game in the series scheduled for October 25th, 2025 in Boise. The series will alternate venues each year. It appears that 24 BYU and Boise State won't play. The contract currently goes through 23. Also, BYU has announced the game with Southern Utah scheduled for November 18th, 2023. So the FCS opponent at Southern Utah jumps up a level. David Nixon, what's your reaction to the Boise State series continuing for the foreseeable future?
That means I'll be almost 50 years old whenever they end this contract. No, I love it. Listen, I think this has definitely become a rivalry close to Utah, not as close, not on the same level, but I think it's BYU's next closest rival. And all those games have been close as well. And I think Boise State fans love it. I think BYU fans love it. So to extend out this rivalry is the right thing to do. And it's exciting. I mean, BYU needs to pick off some wins, obviously, against Boise State to make it even more competitive. But you look at the past few years, and it's similar to Utah, where it's all usually within a 1 or 2 possession game. So great news. I think the more Tom Homo can get those kind of rivalries in place, and then of course go out and put in other games like a Tennessee and USC's, makes his whole independence schedule pretty intriguing.
Well, we look forward to after further review tonight, 7 Eastern on the app, and then tomorrow morning as well on BYU TV.
Always fun to break down wins, that's for sure. This will be a fun show for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks, David.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Coming up, Micah Simon describes his 64-yard catch.
And more on the Boise State series, plus how did BYU's future opponents do last weekend. And I take the lead in going for 2, not only against Spencer, but against Jason, because he didn't have any picks.
Because I don't pick.
This is BYU Sports Nation.
I choose not to pick.